Shanti,
Shanti,
yes.
Shanti.
Alaven.
Om
We all can wish
Shanti.
together. We all can wish in a unified form.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
So this is a
That sounds so
unified
sweet.
chorus from the west coast to the east coast.
Mm. Yes. Dadi would say it has to reach to Paramdam, Baba. Right? The sound of Om, Om Shanti. I think you can hear me, all right? Yes.
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 Here.
First of all, let me tell you how happy I am to be with all of you. And thank you for thinking of me. And this is a wonderful sustenance, I think, to be able to take time like this and revise Baba's Avyakt Murli, especially from the very, very early days of Avyakt Bab Dada, with lots of little secrets there. And sometimes you feel that, but that was of that time. But equally, when you read these Murlis, you feel it's really for this time. And this time, what I mean is, I think there's a lot of things that are common that we are all going through, whether it is West Coast or East Coast. I think we're all in this together, right? It has brought all of us together under one umbrella. But for us, the main umbrella is Baba's canopy of protection. And so we know, the underlying significance of everything that's happening. And so I'm sure everybody is doing very well, keeping safe, keeping distance, but also getting spiritually close. Yes. So the thing about this Murli, which I think all of you or most of you would have gone through, would have read at least 1 or 2 times, because that's what the revision of Murli is all about, right? It's not just reading through it, but reading between the lines and really getting to the essence of what Baba wants to tell us. And it's a Murli that right off, puts you in a questioning mode, and that is, it says Murli of how to become Maharathis. So there is a part of us, in each one of us, I think, that will say, oh yeah, I want to read that Murli. And then as you read through the Murli, there is another part of us, but really, is this really for me? Kind of thing, right? I'm not sure how many of you went through those emotions, but it's wonderful the way Baba teaches us. He doesn't separate us, even though he knows fully well, who will be what. He doesn't separate us into different classes and say, you are the ones who are to become Maharathis, and you are the ones who will become cavalry, so I have a different Murli for you. He doesn't say that, right? He puts us all in the same classroom. He speaks to all of us, in the same way. And even though you will say that back in 1970, there were just a few of them, and many of them by now are old, seniors, ancestors, experienced, whatever you say. But the content of the Murli is so universal that it applies to each one of us, right? I'm sure you felt that, when you read it. The first thing I felt was how much more accurate it could be in terms of what he's asking us to do for drills, right? Yes, of course, Baba has always been conducting drills for a long time, and he's been using the word drill for a long time. But I don't think we have really taken it to heart, in our lives, real lives, to this extent before. And everybody not only has taken it to heart, but it's really enjoying the drills, right? At least for me, that's the high point of the day, the drill of the day, that time when the 7:30 strikes and Baba comes on and we all take drishti from him. And so, I mean, 7:30 for us, but different for you. Obviously, it's different. And I'm not sure how many of you have been able to keep up with it, obviously, because it's middle of Amrit Vela, right, for you. So wonderful to wake up like that with Baba's Drishti and Baba's drill. And what struck me was that, yes, those were the days that Baba would give us the drill, and that would be the end of that. But today Baba is saying, or in the same Murli, Baba is saying, have you become your own drill master, right? What does it take to become your own drill master? In today's world, you know, we do that 15-minute in the morning, and then we are told to do it at, you know, the 6:30 to 7:30 meditation in the evening. But what about the rest of the time? Right? Whether it is this drill or whether it is the drill that Baba has given us in terms of ongoing, the 5 forms, or the angelic stage and the incorporeal stage and the love lean stage, however way you look at the drill. But how often and how seriously and how genuinely are we able to implement that drill? Not only as a discipline, but in a very loving way, right? Because we don't want to just do it by force, but we want to do it out of love for Baba, out of love for ourselves, out of love for the world that we are to serve, because this is all in preparation for that, right? So really taking, you know, a little inventory inside that have I been a good drill master for myself? Have I been loving to myself and yet determined enough, disciplined enough to really bring my mind under control? And I, for myself, you know, I find that unless we set our mind to something like this, the mind goes in many, many different ways. Unless we set the clock, so to speak, you know, mental clock, not so much the physical clock, but the mental clock, in which we are saying that this is the most important thing for me during the day. And so when that time strikes, even if I'm not able to do it exactly at the same minute and the same, you know, second, but immediately as soon as I find the time, I'm able to go to that experience. So for me, Baba's drill in the morning has been a big inspiration to continue to do it several times during the day. And I think this is a big way of building that muscle power of the mind, which has become very weak, right? Because the intellect has become weak. And so we don't have that capacity to really set our mind as we want it to be. And this is not just about going to Paramdam or going to incorporeal world, but whatever stage we want to emerge, whatever quality we want to emerge, whatever power we want to emerge, I think all of that depends on the muscle power of the mind too, right? So I was very struck that, you know, this is so accurate. I don't know how you all chose that, Murli. And Baba is referring to this as a battlefield. And I thought that was also very accurate, because what we do see outside is a huge battlefield. It's a different kind of battle. We never imagined battlefield like this. Of course, the battle that Baba is referring to is here, because there is so much distraction of different kinds of news, different kind of visuals, different kind of messages, all the different information we get, even in the BK world. Yeah, we have so much stimulation, you know, happening. So many classes, so many different programs, so many different teachers, all of that. And so there can be, I'm not saying there is, but there can be a lot of distractive, just the distraction of wanting to listen, wanting to, you know, but what about this real earning of experiencing and being, you know, what we are listening to, right? So even within the BKs, we do see a lot of mixed emotions, mixed, you know, feelings in terms of what's happening outside. Of course, you know, intellectually we understand it's all good, even intellectually, we see that there is a lot of good happening, that we're able to do more tapasya, that we're able to spend more time at home, all of that. But emotionally, are we ready? You know? Emotionally, have we settled all the things that we have to settle? Emotionally, are we taking full support and strength from Baba? Because if we don't do that, there will be all kinds of emotions that are emerging. And so this is a checkpoint too. I think Baba is saying that it's a battlefield and you have to be very ready because you don't know at what time which, bomb is going to come targeting at you. And of course, it's not that physical bomb, but it's the bomb in terms of outbursts of emotions, outbursts of behavior, outbursts of, so to expect all of that, even within the Brahmin family. And definitely, of course, for those who don't have knowledge, you can expect it even more. And, you have to be ready to not just protect yourself, but also counteract it with positive energy. And as I said, Baba is asking us to choose whether I am a Maharati or not. Yes. How many people's hands went up when Baba asked that question? Are you a Maharati? Right. Even at that time, physically speaking, he said only a few of them went up. And so I'm sure we all had our second thoughts, third thoughts. If he's speaking to a whole set of very advanced souls and, senior yogis, where do I stand the chance, right? This is how we would usually look at ourselves. But Baba is not giving us a chance to look down on ourselves. The second question, the very second question he's asking is, do you consider yourself an heir? You consider yourself an heir, the one who has right to the inheritance, right? And who would say no to that? Even in today's Murli, Baba is so much connecting remembrance and inheritance, remembrance and inheritance, inheritance and remembrance. If you think of you as a child receiving inheritance, how could you not remember him, right? If you think that you are remembering him and you're not feeling that inheritance, how could that be possible? So anyone who has had even a fleeting experience in Baba's remembrance of Baba's qualities, Baba's power, Baba's wisdom, Baba's clarity, we would all say, yes, I'm an heir. Forget about being an heir to the golden aged kingdom, but we are an heir to our own inner kingdom now at this time, right? We have all felt that how much we are gaining mastery over our mind, how much we are able to control, our sanskars or emerge only the sanskars that are needed, how much we are able to use the wisdom that Baba has given in terms of the intellect. So, but Baba is saying that if you don't use that right, then you lose your right. Right? In other words, you will be dismissed from your rights, he says. There's nobody here to dismiss you, but you yourself will feel that I'm not rightful, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough. Why? Because Baba gave us, as soon as we come to Baba, Baba gives us that inheritance. But if we don't exercise those rights, until and unless we exercise those rights, on a day-to-day basis, in real-time situations, we will not feel that I have claimed those rights, that I own those rights, whether it's over our mind, whether it's over the senses, whether it is over our feelings, emotions, whatever it may be. But Baba has given us full mastery, full control, saying that as I am, so you are. And who is Baba? Almighty, right? Almighty has all powers, all virtues, all knowledge. So he has full right, and we as children, says, all that is mine is yours. That's why we came to belong to Baba, right? If we were to differentiate and be partial and this, we would have said, no, Baba, thank you, right? One of the reasons we all accepted Baba is because he is so unlimited and he gives of himself completely. And we all accepted that at some point in time. So something again for us to look at. Am I dismissing, am I dismissing my rights myself? Or am I exercising my rights at every step and every chance that I get? And then I was thinking that it's very interesting, Baba brings up this whole thing of why do we allow, things like mistakes to happen? Why do we allow Maya to take a chance over us? Why do we not realize, when before we do something, that it's taking us in the wrong way? And Baba made a very clear point, and he said there are two reasons. And he said there is one, although you will all say 100%, you will all pass 100% in love. He didn't say it in this Murli, but he always says that, right? Everyone has passed in the subject of love. But what about the subject of fulfilling the responsibility of that love? Sometimes he would call it that. And that means you are with the beloved all the time. You're in the company of the beloved all the time. You have Baba as your companion, waking up, getting up, sleeping, eating, walking, serving, whatever it is that we're doing. When we don't consciously make him our companion, then somebody else comes in between. Right? Something else comes in between, or somebody else comes in between, and there goes our safety. So it's interesting also, Baba is using this word that even though you may have given your hand to Baba, Baba, I will, you take care of me kind of thing. When you give your hand, what does it mean? Baba, you take care of me. But in terms of being a companion, I'll walk with you every step. You walk with me every step. In terms of that companionship, we don't stay committed. It's a good visual, right? I have given my hand to Baba. In other words, I do trust him that he is the one who will eventually take me to the right place. But am I keeping his company all the time? Or I take a little detour here, a little detour there in my thoughts, right? It all starts with the thoughts. I don't all of a sudden one day say, I want to try out and come back. But it starts with small little waves of thoughts. Maybe I can take a break today. But why is this person, this instrument doing it like this? I don't think I can trust this person. All kinds of little doubts that might come. And I let go of Baba's hand, not realizing that that's the mistake that I'm doing. And then, of course, Baba also says, Sati. Baba mentioned two words, Sati or Sarthi. Sati means companion, and Sarthi means I'm allowing Baba to ride my chariot. He's the co-charioteer here, right? I'm not taking off on my own, giving in to my desires, giving in to my impulses, but I'm checking in with Baba all the time. And this is what he's saying, verifying with the Avyakt form, because of course by this Murli, Sakar Baba was not there already. It's Avyakt Bapdada Murli. So obviously the question can come, but I want to verify, but who do I verify with? Who do I have around me? Baba is not there. Sometimes, the dadis are not around. Seniors, sometimes I don't, know if I can approach them. So a lot of questions come up. How do I verify what I'm thinking is right? What I'm going to be doing is right? If the approach I'm taking with this person or this relationship, it is right. So who will I go to? And Baba is saying very clearly, if you really were to make Baba your companion, Baba is in the Avyakt form now, right? So it's not up in the head, but you will actually experience Baba in his Avyakt form you in your avyakt form being together. Yeah. So because we cannot feel his avyakt form unless we use our avyakt power. It's interesting, Baba is using the word avyakt power to experience the avyakt form. So what is this avyakt power? Any ideas? Any thoughts? What is this avyakt power?
How clearly we can,
or how how easily we can become a vector, like as an angel.
Right. So what kind of power is that?
Like he is there, but we cannot see him.
Silent state.
Power of silence, yes.
be totally immersed in Baba's love and the 16 celestial degrees.
Like we are souls and he is also a soul. So we have to merge
right.
into him.
The power to even experience yourself as a soul, right? That's where it all starts. The power to experience the subtle. You know, I think recently I've been hearing a lot about these subtle powers. There was a time when, you know, we listened to the knowledge and we believed in the knowledge and we started following the knowledge. And maybe it took us a while to really experience. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it happened right away. But now, I think what is needed more and more is this power to be able to experience the self as the soul, as a subtle being, beyond the physical. And Baba is very clearly also saying, when you pay attention to the soul versus the form, yes, the form is the physical form he's talking about. The soul is the incorporeal soul. So as soon as your attention goes to the form, physical form, instead of the soul, that means I'm not using my avyakt power, my subtle power, right? The subtle power that Baba has given me by pulling me to himself, by giving me my introduction, by giving his own introduction. You know, Baba has given me that power. Yes, come, belong to me. You are mine, right? That has already empowered me. But at that moment, I'm not using that avyakt power. The second thing that Baba also said was that you pay a lot of attention to the words, saz or raz. Baba used the word, you know, for soul and form, he used the word ruh or roop. In Hindi, it rhymes so nicely. So when your attention goes to the roop instead of the ruh, you know, that's when you lose your avyakt power. You cannot verify, Maya takes over, all these things happen. And the other word that he used was saz or raz. Somebody comes and praises you, for example, you know, you get carried away with that praise. You don't understand the significance of that praise, which is, significance is that Baba is the one who has given me that quality or whatever I am being praised for. This is just an example. Or it could be the other way, it could be negative also. Sometimes somebody said that and you turn your face, somebody's trying to correct you or whatever, you're trying to point out something that you need to do better, and you get caught into the words, you get into the tune of it. But you don't really understand the message. The message behind it is that I have to pay more attention to one little thing that I'm being pointed out on. So when we get carried away with the physical aspect of things, for example, how somebody tells me, rather than what somebody tells me. Say, for example, you know, they were very upset or they had a bad, you know, an angry tone when they were trying to talk to me. And immediately I will reject the whole thing. You know, who is this person to tell me, right? This person doesn't have inculcation, got angry, and therefore I will reject the whole thing. But Baba is saying you need to understand the significance of that. We all hear, no, how in the early days, you know, the daddies had a way of correcting, and everybody had a way of accepting that correction. I'm just trying to give that example that, you know, for exactly as I said, somebody can come and tell me, but why didn't you do it like this? Was a, you should have done it like this. But they said it so angrily, or in an upset tone. And so therefore, I didn't like the tone of voice. Saz actually means tone, right? I didn't like the tone of voice. So I forgot about the actual message or the signal that was coming to me, which is the Raz. And the Raz is actually like a signal to me. The significance of, I'm being told that, either I could have done it better or I had some kind of a weakness, that came through in the way that I did it or something like that. So instead of picking that up, I'm picking up the tone of voice and I'm rejecting the whole thing. So this is why we also then turn our face away. But actually it's Maya turning our face away from Baba. So it's not between the two people, but Maya is very, very sneakily interfering and making me turn my face away from Baba himself, because obviously what I feel towards one person, it reflects on how I feel towards Baba too, or how I can experience Baba too. So this is why Baba is saying that, this is one of the ways in which Maya will interfere. And it happens because of carelessness, that you lose your subtle powers and you start using your physical powers. You lose your subtle way of reasoning, which is your subtle intellect, divine intellect, and you use your ordinary intellect for reasoning or for decision or for commenting on anybody or anything like that. So this is one of the things we have to watch out for. This verifying with Avyakt Bhavdada, verifying at every step, that, yeah, I did say that to that person, but then even if it is after the fact, sometimes you don't get to do it before because you're in the rush of things. But after the fact, something kind of signals to you inside, I didn't say that right, I didn't act right. So what do you do at that time? Can you go back to Avyakt form of Bap Dada, emerge your perfect form, give it to Baba and say, yes, and then Baba will help to change it too. So it's not only, verifying in the beginning, but also later on also to take correction or blessings from Baba directly so that I can do better next time. I can transform those sanskars for next time. And then, of course, Baba uses some very strong words, right, in this Murli. What did he say? Was Murdaghat. Baba is using the word Murdaghat. In other words, I am going after perishable attainments. I'm supposed to be the one who awakens people from the graveyard, right? Baba oftentimes charges us with this duty of Baba has come to awaken souls from the graveyard, but you have to also help him to do that. In other words, you have to buzz knowledge in their ear. You have to awaken the soul. You have to bring them to Baba. But instead of doing that, you yourself getting caught into perishable attainments, you yourself are not able to experience Baba's unlimited attainments, imperishable attainments, and therefore you're also not able to take people to that stage of imperishable attainment. So Baba is giving a very, very strong image. It's like Dharamraj using the word of Murda Ghat. Murda Ghat is like somebody working in the crematorium, right? You know, and why Baba is saying is that you yourself are after perishable things. Cremation is for, perishable things. The body will perish, but, but in the golden age also you will experience that. I don't know if it is literally true, right? But of course it's a strong image and it's a strong, word to use. And it should really make you think, what am I really doing? Baba is here to give me imperishable attainments. And why am I going after perishable attainments? And he's describing those perishable attainments, right? Whether it is going after a body, whether it is going after the words, paying attention to those words, or whether it's taking support, of other people's income. He's saying we take support of other people's income. In other words, you look at other people's behavior and you decide your behavior. Now, what is that? It's taking the support of others' income, right? If someone doesn't behave nicely with you, then you're not going to behave nicely with. So I'm losing my income based on that. So perishable, no? All of those are, so it's not based on imperishable. In other words, the aim that we have set for ourselves, the attainment that Baba is making us experience now at the confluence age, we're not taking the support of that. We're taking the support of someone else's, behavior or, conversation or words. And we are depriving ourselves from the imperishable attainment. And so Baba is asking us to be alert about that. And then on the other hand, he also says that you cannot also be drawn to other people's income. Did you understand that, what that means? Sometimes you look at somebody else, doing very well in knowledge, moving ahead, getting a lot of attention, and you feel jealous. Jealousy, Baba said, because your eyes are going towards how that person is doing. Your eyes are not going to Baba. You're not thinking about how Baba is helping you, what virtues you can draw from Baba, how you can help in Baba's task. You're not taking your inspiration from Baba, but your attention is going to this other person's income, and that's where jealousy starts. Right? I don't know if some of you were in Sister Moini's session a couple of days ago. She brought this point up, that jealousy usually comes because our attention is on the other person. Instead, what I should start doing, I should start making myself worthy, developing myself, those skills, those talents, those specialities. And if I do that, then I don't have to look at the other person and say, oh, this person got a chance and I didn't get a chance. So let me make myself worthy, right? To whatever I'm jealous of, am I worthy of that? Let me make myself worthy. And Baba is the one who will make me worthy. I have to draw virtues from him. I have to look at his task and say to Baba, Baba, I want to help you in this. Baba doesn't, discriminate, in other words, but everyone has to take initiative to upgrade themselves. So this is what it means, taking support or not to be drawn by other people's income. Grind your own ingredients, right? Baba says it in a normal way, or mix your own drink, they say. Somebody else doesn't have to mix my drink. I mix my own drink. This is how they interpret it in the Lokik sense. And then Baba is giving several tools, for us, I thought, in the Murli today, before we go on to question and answer. Or maybe we go to question answer and then we come back to the tools and then the meditation. Should we stop now for a little question answer, or what is Sister Vinu?
Yeah. There is a question. Which is a better way of meditation, avyakt or seed form?
I don't think it is a matter of better. Both of them have their own importance. And this is why, Baba tells us about both the incorporeal stage as well as the avyakta stage, even today, right, in the drill. 1 minute incorporeal, 1 minute avyakt. Seed form means that you are totally in that incorporeal or bodiless stage. Totally all your faculties are merged, right? Your faculties are all merged and you are just being, that total embodiment of powers, total embodiment of qualities. And in the angelic form, your faculties may not be all merged, you still will have very pure thoughts. You still will have very pure feelings. Yeah, you will still have, this way of communicating with each other, for example, through signals, through smile, through gesture, through pure feelings, through drishti. All of those things are still active, in the angelic stage. So both are important. There is a time in seed form stage where we are actually taking power from Baba. We are destroying the sins. We are becoming very powerful inside. And of course, there is a stage in the angelic stage. There is also this very loving give and take between Baba and me in the Avyakt form. Because Baba has now made himself available in the Avyakt form, right? Through Avyakt Brahma. So this is why we say Avyakt Bab Dada. And therefore, we need to be able to communicate on that level too. And we need to be able to serve on that level too. Right? Serving on that level, angelic means that, it's very easy to do that. So you don't have to take special time to say, this is the time for me to send Sakash. Sakash is automatically transmitted when you're in an angelic stage. When you're moving around with those angelic qualities, you're able to share those qualities very naturally in your interaction, in your relationship, conversations, and so on and so forth. People will feel it. People will feel, that they got, encouragement from being with you, or they felt a lot of peace, just in your presence, or they were just feeling Baba's love, when they were taking drishti or sharing drishti. So all of that is angelic, whereas in the seed form stage, right, you're pretty much, in silence. And of course, it's a powerful stage and the vibrations can go very far. But how long can you be in that stage anyway during the day? Not for a long time, no? So yes, early morning hours, sometime, yes, evening meditation, bhakti. But we can't really maintain that stage all the time. So this is why Baba has given us importance of both stages, angelic and seed stage. Seed stage is important, especially to burn away the sins. It's very important. That's when the soul and the Supreme Soul are in union, communion, in a very powerful way. And Baba's current, Baba's love, are able to take away a lot of the influences of the past, the sanskars of the past, burn away the alloy, so to speak, right? Angelic is more like a very loving communication. And through that communication and exchange, a lot of realization happens, a lot of change happens, transformation happens, right? So that is also important. Both are important.
Okay, anyone have any other questions? Anyone? Okay. So, Kalaban, would you like to share some of your maybe Yagya experiences with the seniors? It's always very lovely to hear Yagya stories. Going back in time.
Going back in time, yes. Of course, who comes to mind immediately is our dear Dadi Janki, right? So we have been thinking about her a lot. And she is one of the souls that has brought me where I am, even though at that time in the beginning days, I think the first time I met Dadi, I remember that I was quite young, very young, few days old maybe, in Gyan. And she sat me down and they said I must meet her. And when I was meeting her, then she took my whole history, what do I do? Where do I live? What kind of job I do, and so on and so forth. And in those days, I didn't quite understand why Dadi was asking me all those things. And then she told me about, coming closer to live closer to the center and all. In other words, of course, the seniors and daddies are always thinking for the best, but how we lag behind sometimes, that I didn't get it at that time. And anytime she would point out to me, and it would feel like, I cannot reach that place. Right. But she would always insist, she would always continue to remind me that this is where you have to get. For example, she would tell me one time, she told me that, you have to be more generous, generous in terms of your virtues and your sharing of, time and energy and happiness and all. So I didn't really quite get it the first time. Then the second time she would say it again. And then now you really begin to understand what dadis are really all about, that they are able to see you already at the end of the road, and you are only seeing yourself as you are at that time. And so when she put me in Peace Village, she was the one who actually said very categorically one moment that you should stay here in Peace Village. This was about 1 year after Peace Village came about. And until that point, or even after that, I think I had no connection with Peace Village. I was not connected at all. I didn't want to hear about it. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to visit. But somehow or the other, she saw that, and I said, how could it possible that, such a big place, I have no experience, I have no, abilities, so to speak. I come from a very, different background. I'm very naive. I can't be with people. These are all my thoughts in my head. But she had no doubt whatsoever. And of course, it came about that I started being here. And then the whole way in which this whole road started to open up. And, it's really seeing that how Baba and Dadis and the whole Yagya is run on trust. So nothing is for nothing. They're not just saying from the top of their head, these people know what they're talking about. These people these people meaning including Baba, they know exactly where they're coming from, and, they know about the soul. They know about, where this soul will be. And so really, I begin to see that the whole of the Yagya is really about trust, deep, deep trust that we have to develop in each other, whether it is a senior, whether it is an equal, whether it is a junior, somebody very, new, whatever. And that trust is really based on a pure spiritual vision, right? Pure spiritual vision. And then the other I see in the Yagya, and I saw it in Dadi, and I saw it and see it in so many, is that mutual regard. No matter who is in front of them, Dadi would look at them with so much love and so much respect, so much regard, so to speak. It doesn't matter who she was meeting in Madhuban. I remember one time she was meeting somebody, who was quite difficult, difficult personality, and, somebody, one of the departments, and everybody would complain about this person. And then after she met him and went away, she, I was with her and she said, but these are the people that are doing for Baba what I cannot do. She says, the humility with which she said it, You know, sometimes Baba would say, you know, if a screw is missing, that screw is equally important as the big battery in the car, right? So every part of the yagya is so important and so respect worthy and regard worthy. And I learned that from Dadi, how to treat anyone, even though they may have their ups and downs and sanskaras and this and that. But once they have come to Baba, they're giving a helping hand to Baba, or even if they're not, you know, if they're Baba's children, they're really part of the yagya, right? So I have to be so respectful of them, give them that full regard to them. And of course, you know, I loved Dadi originality. And in the early days, you know, going to the yagya for me meant having all my desires fulfilled. You know, there was no, every time I went to Madhuban, I remember whatever desire I had, it was always fulfilled. I remember one time in the very early days, again, you know, I had this craving for pani puri, you know, in the beginning, because we used to have it every week almost, right, before Gyan. And now we haven't had for a long time. So one day I got the thought in Madhuban, and, you know, only a thought, I didn't even say to anyone. And that same day, guess what? You know, Dadiji is asking us to all come together, and there was pani puri. So these things kind of touch you very deeply. You know, like there is some kind of an unseen, unknown machinery at work, which kind of really only works on the energy of purity. You know, only energy of purity it works. And so everyone gets their pure desires fulfilled, the right connections happen, you know, and the right thing, the right person shows up. And, you know, and it's all very, very visible and practical in Madhuban when you see. But also in terms of, you know, taking care of the yagya here, you know, to have Sister Mohini give us so much of her, you know, time, energy, especially now at this time. You know, it's very heartwarming for me, especially when we were all missing Dadi, and, you know, Dadi's presence was so much, you know, required at that time. So for her to pull together this whole evening session and really make that presence so visible, viable, you know, palpable for all of us. I just feel how connected we are, you know, and how important for us to stay connected in this way, especially at this time. I feel is very, very important, you know. And a lot of the yagya is kind of happening underneath. We don't even realize what's happening. Most of it is run based on yoga power, right? You know, such a huge establishment in Madhuban and Shantivan and this and that. How much do you really come to know? Nothing. But so much is happening because of yoga power. And we have to now all rise up to the occasion to contribute to that yoga power. So I am really touched in these days, especially of seeing how the yagya is continuing. Used to be a time when we used to think, you know, what will happen when Dadi leaves? But even look at the way she left, you know, such a magical departure. You know, Dadi Janki left, and nobody could go nowhere, you know, exactly how she would have ordained it for herself. So there is a lot of unseen power, very pure power that is at work, you know, that is making the yagya function. And so not to use too much of our intellect and, you know, reasoning to think too much ahead, I think, but really to appreciate, you know, from where we have come to where, right? Everybody's enjoying the evening experiences with Moini Ben. Maybe not everybody is able to take benefit, but it's been wonderful. Those who can take benefit, right? To
Yeah. I think some of us do join the sessions. For us, it's 3 to 4 p.m. here, meditation.
you
And then,
can catch up later, I think. You can catch up later.
yeah.
You have the links, no?
Yeah,
You
we do
get the link.
Telegram, right? The classes. In YouTube also, I think they uploaded
Yeah.
as well.
Right, right.
So anyone else have any other questions before we go into meditation? One last chance, Kalaban, and then we'll go into meditation. Sudhaben, Sudha Narayan, do you have any questions?
Kalaben, give the last tools for the Murli, today's Murli.
Right, right. I was just going to come and do that. We talked about a few of them already. So what I picked up, there were some tools and there were some very, very beautiful questions too that Baba has left us with in terms of reflection questions, right? And so the tools that I picked up was at any given point to stop check if Baba is my companion. And what that means is he has to be there constantly, but I have to check at least periodically to make sure that it becomes constant, right? So checking, do I feel Baba's presence? Do I feel close to him? Do I feel that I'm like him, right? And do I feel that I'm sitting on his heart throne? So these are all stages, of course, but it only happens once I keep Baba with me. So I think this is a checkpoint, several times during the day, especially when I'm in the midst of activities, challenges, difficulties. I need to do that. And the other tool I got was to question myself before everything I do. At least things that are questionable to me, that I'm not totally sure of. Does it match with my aim? And am I going for something perishable or imperishable within that action, right? Before I do something, to check myself whether it matches my aim, whatever aim I have set for myself, for my life. Does this little action contribute to that? Or am I looking for anything perishable in that action? And of course, Baba said to verify with him. Verify with him. Of course, you can do it with the eye of your mind, your intellect. But also, if you have Baba's picture, it becomes easy. Brahma Baba, Bab Dada's picture, it becomes easy. Many of you would have this experience, right? Baba smiles at you, Baba winks at you, Baba is not happy with you, all these kind of messages, signals that we get when we go to him with an honest heart, right? Verify with the Avyakt form, using your Avyakt power. In other words, I'm not in a body conscious stage, but in a subtle stage. In other words, I'm detached and I'm checking with him. It's not that I have my own desire, my own fixed, opinion, and then I go to Baba and ask him, Baba, should I really be detached?
Then, question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you expand on the 5 aspects of Avyakt feeling?
Avyakt feeling means that there is a sense of belonging to Baba. There is a sense of closeness to Baba. There is a sense of equal to Baba. And there is a sense of ownership over Baba. I'm seated on the heart throne. And there is a sense of being combined no matter what. This is the way I see it. No? The avyakt feelings that I will get from Baba. And then, of course, it translates into our relationship with others. Also in the sense of belonging, in the sense of pure love, spiritual love, encouragement, many other things.
Ratunjbai, does that answer you? Are you're okay with that, or you want further clarification?
Yeah, I was just trying to find out if she could give some practical examples on how you can incorporate that feeling of benevolence in your VX stage, that feeling of giving love, cooperation, zeal and enthusiasm, that feeling of everyone is my brother. So, when you're in that AVX stage, what is there a thought process or what exactly do you do to tie in this feeling? And that's what I'm trying to get at, looking for a method. Om Shanti.
Right. I see it as something that will come naturally when you have that feeling with Baba, when you have that kind of quality of connection with Baba. What you're saying is very right. This is how it translates into our relationship with other people. And it's a good checkpoint to find out, if I am in that feeling, object feeling. But the method I see it as, method is to really go to Baba and feel that kind of closeness and connection with him.
Yogita-ben, did you have something to ask?
Yes, I have a question. I would like to know, Didi said that you have to keep Baba as a companion at all times. And I want to know how you do it in your practical life. Let's say I have to go to work, so I'm going to take a shower, eat breakfast, and then are you to think of Baba all the time? And if you do, how can you have any other thought? Like, let's say I have to find my keys to the car, or how are you supposed to do that in your practical life when you're working? Or let's say I'm cooking and I'm thinking, okay, what should I make for dinner? Would my kids like to eat something, this or another thing? So how do you do that without having another thought?
Without having another thought.
Yeah, let's say you were supposed to be thinking of Baba having.
Obviously, you have to think about what you have to cook, right?
Right. So
you cannot do without that thought. But Baba is together with you in that thought. In other words, you're deciding together. You're bringing Baba into your life now. He's not apart from your life. So you're getting up in the morning and the first thing that you say is, "Good morning, Baba." You have a little chit chat with him, right? That itself sets the stage that we are going to do this together today, Baba. Whatever it is, we are going to do it together, right? You're kind of, having a little heart-to-heart with him in the morning. It doesn't have to be long, but it's important to spend some time exclusively with him in the morning. That sets the stage as you go through the day, especially the busier your day, the more importance for that morning time to be with him. This is why also we spend a little time listening to him, what he has to say to us every day in the morning about our life, about our behavior, about our thoughts, at least some of it, we have to kind of hold that as our resource for the day. And then, of course, as we go about, I can tell you my experience when I used to be working, for example. When I did this, and I was, I used to go to work after listening to the Murli and after the morning meditation. And of course, it's not that, work is easy and, breezy, but, you have more the number of patients, the more challenges, the more this, the more that. But it was like in the back of your mind, it's Baba and you. So you, first of all, you don't feel the stress, you feel light about what you're doing. And even if you don't, say that, you have to be remembering him at every moment, but somehow or the other, he's generally there, and when it comes to anything major, especially when it comes to a conflict of values of some kind that you have to do or not do or whatever, he becomes very active. In other words, you go right to him and you are with him and you're able to make the right decision, So in this case, for example, if you're cooking and if you have to decide one person likes this, one person like that, what am I going to do? This is, so a lot of considerations, right, before you start cooking. And you can get pretty pressured. You can get quite pressured by just deciding what you have to cook. You haven't even started cooking yet, but bring Baba into the picture, right? Now, Baba doesn't have likes and dislikes somehow, right? But you get the feeling, and automatically you move to a place where you feel, let me do this today, without feeling guilty about not pleasing the other person, for example, right? It's that's why I said it's a subtle machinery. So once you engage him, even in the normal day-to-day routine and decisions, and it's not to say there is a right and a wrong, but it's just the fact that you have done it with him, and you can be very light about it, and you do it with him. This is a magical presence that God has, right? That he makes you feel very, very light. And this is what Baba wants us to be. He wants us to be light, and he wants us to be also very clear inside, not to have any kind of waste thoughts, negative thoughts, burdensome thoughts. And obviously, life is full of those moments when you can make decisions. When you have to make decisions, you don't know what to make, or you have made decision and you don't know what, whether it was right or wrong. But in either case, if you have brought Baba in, it's always, there's no wrong, but you have to do it from the heart, in other words.
Thank you.
One thing you can definitely do, of course, these days we're not going out. People always say, oh, Baba, come, let's go to work. Before they start the car, they say, they invoke Baba for a minute, half a minute. Let's drive together to work. Those are moments in between where you can bring him and make his presence more alive and real, in your life.
Thank you.
So Kalaban is very experienced because she was a doctor by profession. So she's a double doctor. So anyone have any other questions?
I would take time in between patient, even if it was like half a minute, 1 minute, just to be with them. Because so many things happen in just one interaction, like if anything gets left over, then you're carrying the effect of that to the next patient. But I said, no, I want to start fresh. Every patient I want to give, a fresh start. I can't carry on my tiredness or my frustration or whatever it was with the last patient to the next patient. And one way I could do that is bringing Baba, becoming fresh, refreshed again.
Okay, anyone? One last question. So anyone wants to hit that jackpot before we go into meditation? Just now I saw Sister Sudha, you unmuted. Did you have something to ask?
Sister, could you please explain the sense organ control in a practical way, like the hand, the mouth?
Practically speaking, I'll tell you, say for example, the cell phone is buzzing, right? And you know, you're not expecting anything really important, but just the temptation to go and get it right away, right? When, especially when you're in meditation, for example, you know, just because it buzzes, and I have to go and look at it right away. Now that is lack of control of senses, right? Because I need to see it and I need to read it right away, where I didn't need to, you know, at that time. Or listening to a particular music, you know, at the wrong time, for example, you know, when I'm busy with something else and, you know, and I have to concentrate on something, then I'm being pulled to listen to something or watch something. That is not control of senses, right? These are all little things that we start with. But ultimately, Baba says it's because the mind has become so weak, you know, we're not able to control senses. You're not self-sovereigns. Yeah?
Does that answer you, Sister Sudha?
Yes, sister. Thank you, Shanti.
So, Kalaban, would you lead us into meditation? You can give.
I have just a few minutes, right? I will do a short one.
Yeah. Okay. So, everyone, you can turn on your videos. Everyone can sit still in a yogi position, and you can turn on your videos so Kalaban can give drishti to everyone during the meditation. You can keep yourself muted and please turn on your video. Can you see all of them, Kalaban?
Let me see. Yeah. Quite a few of them. Om Shanti. So let's just take one aspect of what we have talked about. What does it mean to have Baba as my companion?